Hello,
Hello,
hello.
hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Awesome.
Can you?
I can hear both of you perfectly.
Perfect, perfect. Let's go.
Sorry, I was just trying to open Nifty Island and it was that moment where it doesn't let you control your mouse anymore for like 20 seconds.
No problem, no problem. Nice. We have 10 people in here. Let's wait a bit as we get a bit more people. How's your week so far?
Fun, fun week. Building, creating, exploring.
Where are you based again?
Southern California. So good morning. Good morning.
Cali. Yeah, you're an
7
early
a.m.
bird. I was about to
Yeah.
say. Nice. Let's see. Hey everybody, how's everybody doing?
I'm gonna try to open it again, so I might go silent for a little bit.
Yeah, take your time. We're gonna wait for a few minutes and then we're gonna get started. Mm-mm-mm. 6 is in podcast mode. He has his burger. What is it? Is it kebab? I can't see. Smash burger. Okay, that's nice. By the way, Roustan, throughout the session, I don't know if you have two screens, but typically we're doing this on Discord, so on side chat, people will be chiming in, asking some questions, or they may, kind of react to some stuff that you're saying. So if you want to have that in a live feed, you can just open that up. But else, I typically read what people write. So whatever you feel more comfortable with. Yes, Polly, it's Roustan. It's the star. An OG in the metaverse space. Okay, great. Are you ready?
I am perfectly ready. Just logged
Very
in,
nice. Very nice.
and I got
So
this poll pulled up.
let's get started. I think just more generally to start it off, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, introducing who you are, the history you have in the different virtual worlds. I think that would be great.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me. Thank you for joining this early. My name is Paul Roustan. I'm a body painter. I've been a body painter for 21 years. I paint on people and then I photograph them. And in early March 2021, during the major hype after the $69 million Beeple sale, I dove into NFTs. I actually was first introduced to Bitcoin in 2014, and then when that happened, like first I dabbled in it, messed around, and I just kind of lost interest because it was like so complicated. And in March 2021, I saw a thumbnail on YouTube that said crypto and art, and that like totally piqued my interest, and I clicked on it, and it told me all about NFTs and what it was about, and I understood it completely. So I jumped in, created my first NFT probably 2 weeks later. Um, got rid of a bunch. The first one I sold was free, and then I increased the price of them incrementally, little by little, not a lot, like up to $20, something like that. And I sold them all, and then started exploring everything. OpenSea, Rarible, Foundation, Hicket Nunc on Tezos is where I found a solid collector base, and around May, I think April or May, some of my collectors invited me to participate in Decentraland, and they said just send us your NFTs. We'll put them on display and we'll show them off to you and show them off to everybody, and you don't have to do anything. Just show up for the opening. And so I did that, and I walked in on the opening, and I saw my virtual art big on these virtual walls, like like 30 feet wide, and surrounded, wrapped with a neon frame. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, this would cost so much money to do in real life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was like there
100%.
was like there was like 30 people there,
Yeah.
and I've done a lot of live gallery shows
Yeah.
since 2009, I think, was my first one. And I was blown away. And then in my DMs, the person who had invited me, his name is The Party. I'll name drop the people that helped me through my
Okay.
career. His name is The Party. He was a big OG Decentralander, a huge collector and everything. But he DM'd me. There's someone here who's wants to ask some questions. Can you answer this person's questions? And so I'm looking in the chat trying to figure out how to navigate Decentraland, and this person asked me one of the regular questions, how did you get started? How long
Mm.
does the paint stay on the skin? All the normal questions I've asked throughout the years,
Yeah.
and I answered them, and then I realized that all 30 people could see the answer, and I was like, "Whoa, that's amazing!" Because what normally happens in real life is you get asked the same question 100 times
Yeah.
in the night of one opening, and it just like takes up a lot of time, and you become kind of bored responding the same answers over and over again. So I was like, "Whoa, I just had to answer this once. This is
Walk me
amazing."
walk me through walk me through what it's like to do a live gallery show, because is it you have your stand, you have your art, I assume you have people standing there that you've painted,
Yeah,
or
yeah. So I mean, I can
how's
I can
that like?
assume that most of you guys are familiar with metaverse life. Like a group of people show up in world in
Yeah.
Nifty Island, right? And you're able to socialize and talk and stuff and hang out and chill. In a real life gallery show, like a solo show, an opening, you have a big space and your art is on the walls. It's huge, and
Mhm.
there's hundreds of people sometimes, and everyone is kind of like vying to talk to you for your
Yeah.
attention. And I even had to have like codes to the gallery owners to like get me out of this conversation. This person's like, like sometimes you have 3 hours to like sell your work, and then
Mm.
someone comes up to you to talk about their sprinkler system at their house, for like 30 minutes, and it's like, I can't talk about that right now. I need to I need to sell work. There's people
Yeah.
waiting here. So like I have these codes to get me out of conversations, but like everybody wants to talk to you. There's people that are very interested, and they're like lined up, and then you just never have the chance to talk to them. And
Yeah, because
so,
there's so many people, right? Yeah.
right, it's just impossible. And so that was like one issue that was instantly solved. And that literally was probably the one thing that I was like, it was just like epiphany, light bulb on my head, like, whoa, this is the future.
Mm.
And like 3 4 months later, I saved up enough to buy my first parcel in Decentraland, and that's where sort of my journey began. And for me, um, like the transition from real life body painting to Web3, it was like I've been waiting for this my whole life. Like
Yeah.
body painting is special, unique in this situation because you paint someone in real life, photograph them, capture videos, they wash it off. It no longer exists. It's ephemeral. It's like
Mm.
a temporary thing. And I could never sell videos. I could never, sell 3D versions of it.
Yeah. I was about to say it's because I assume what you were selling were pictures, right? You were
Yeah, photos,
yeah.
limited edition photos. Yeah, yeah. I couldn't even
Yeah.
really
So,
do one of ones, because it's like who sells photos as one of ones,
mm,
But
yeah.
now I could like make a nicely edited video, sell that as a one of one to a collector. It's pretty cool.
That's interesting. Interesting also to think about your body painting niche. So then you were, I assume you're super excited about skins in video games and how that has been portrayed. How was
Well,
the learning curve for you? Because
yeah.
that's a completely different art, right?
Well, it's funny, right? Like I think there's something that everybody has to cross when they transition into this world, and that's shedding what we know. And so like the first thing I made in Decentraland was a t-shirt, and I never put it out. I like finished it on. I had to learn Blender from scratch, like I'm sure a lot of people here probably have. And I finished it, and I was like, "Wait, what am I doing? Why am I making a T-shirt? Like,
Hmm.
I can make anything I can possibly imagine. I'm making a T-shirt because like T-shirts is what we make in like real life world. Like
Yeah.
musicians and stuff. It's the cheapest form of swag, and like you can get it out there, good marketing and stuff. And it was just like still ingrained in me. And I was like, why the hell am I making a T-shirt? I should make a virtual body painting that people could wear. And so I dove in the task on trying to make that come to life. And the curation committee on Decentraland was like, oh, you got to fix this, you got to fix that, you have to fix the weight painting. And I was like, what's weight painting? Like I didn't understand anything, and it took 3 months to get my wearable approved. But then
Wow.
it all like when it finally happened, like I remember having this vision when I wanted to do it. I was meeting all these people in the metaverse, and I was like, I'm gonna get this group of people, and they're all gonna have it, and I'm gonna get a photo with them. Like that was like kind of a dream of mine. And then
Yeah,
it's literally the day it came out, it happened. I like sold out in a
it's
few
amazing.
hours. I had like a crew of people wearing it, got the picture of it, and it was like just such a magical moment in my history, like my art career.
Yeah. Did you ever come close to that moment again? Like, did you keep
Oh,
doing drops, or was it? Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
just like that was just the beginning.
Okay.
And after that, it was like, I mean, literally seeing that YouTube thumbnail, crypto and art, that was like the no turning back point for me. But
Okay.
like everything that happened after that was just like, there's like zero reason to go back. Even through the bear market, it was still better than what real life offered. And I've since
Mm.
made, I think, I just made a Hyperfy world that showcases all of my virtual body paintings. And I think it's like 14 or 15 on various platforms, on like almost every platform you can think of. And they're all just kind of walking around and interacting, and it's a cool thing. And I've sold out a lot of them, and have had tremendous support on many platforms, and it's been a really awesome wild ride.
So how would you describe your art today? Because I'm sure you're
Oh
all over
god.
the place. Like you're doing the in person, you're doing the virtual one. So what how would you describe it?
Well, it's funny, is like I bet you can imagine, like I had two real life shows in the past year. And the first one was really cool because I like tried to show the real world what I've been up to. And I had like my traditional prints on display on the wall. I had a giant 86-inch TV um, connected to Decentraland. And for those that are familiar with Decentraland and like the DJ Stony Eye, he lives like 30 minutes away from me. And so I invited him to DJ the gallery show. And so he was DJing like he always does in the metaverse, live at the gallery. And the people in the metaverse could see the people in the gallery, and the people in the gallery could see in the metaverse. And then I also threw an AR setup too, and then me painting live. So it was like a total like everything all in one. And I was sharing visually what I've been doing for the last 5 years. And it was cool because some people like hadn't seen anything like that before. And some people were like, this is weird. And some people were like, oh yeah, I didn't know NFTs were still around. I got burned hard in 2021. So I had like a lot of great conversations. But for the most part, I look like a crazy freak of nature, when I open my mouth and say metaverse or NFTs to random people.
Yeah, especially today. I think it's really not in the trend anymore right now. Um,
Well, I just saw
However,
news. I
Roblox is
just
blowing up, so you never know.
Yeah, I just saw news that Epic and Google are partnering
Yeah,
on a browser-based metaverse. That's kind of
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. It's interesting. Did you see? Did you look at how was it called again? There was I forgot the name. There was a Google product that creates these virtual worlds where you can kind of go from a
Oh,
picture and then you
yes.
can look
I
around
forget
it.
what they
That's
call
insane.
it. It's like splattering or something like that. I forget the term. But yeah, that's
Yeah, I
cool.
forgot. Yeah.
It's intense and it's like inspiring, hopeful, intense, and it's fast. Like it almost wrecks everything we've been doing the last few years. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Have you been dabbling with VR at all?
VR, yeah, yeah. I bought a MetaQuest 3 when it came out. I've explored not Hyperfy, Horizon Worlds. Like I want to have like a total knowledge of everything that's happening, so I
Hmm.
can sort of know the best path to proceed. And I jumped in there and I quickly found like, all right, what are the apps I could use to like actually paint a 3D asset in VR? And I was able to do it.
Hmm.
And I brought in a 3D figure and I started body painting with the headset. And the whole intent was like, I want to be able to like paint an asset live in VR and then have people purchase it if they like it immediately afterwards and wear it, you know? And I did that. And I mean, I did the preliminary steps of that. And I just like, I get so nauseous with the VR headset and so I kind of
Yeah.
put that on the back burner a little bit. But I did try the Vision Pro. I
Yeah.
recommend this to everybody. If you haven't tried this, go to your Apple store and make an appointment to test the Vision Pro, and they'll give you a 30-minute tour of it, and it's phenomenal. It's crazy, and
Yeah,
I
I've
don't get
heard
scared anymore.
it's a very impressive piece of software, but I think they really priced out a lot of people
Yeah, but I
with
mean
the
that's why I
product.
say do the tour, get the taste of it because like it helps you see what's coming. And I know Meta's working on way. I just saw an article today about how they're trying to reduce that frame per
Mm.
second thing that is the cause of people getting sick. But man, that Vision Pro, that was crazy. I don't want to buy one, especially for the price. But when I saw it, I was like, all right, all right. So there is a path forward there that we're gonna see for sure. And I personally am more interested in MR, mixed reality, augmented and
Yeah.
VR combined. I think that's gonna be the real future. I
Yeah.
bought the Meta Ray Bans on
Oh,
Black
nice.
Friday. I didn't like them. They're kind
No?
of whack, to be honest. Like they have a ways
Okay.
to go, so I returned them. But I see where like it's pretty clear where we're headed. I think, and
Yeah. I was always
you know,
thinking because, when I'm thinking about hardware, I mean, obviously we're derailing off topic, but when I'm thinking about hardware, I'm always thinking what is necessary hardware in our day-to-day lives? And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure if like we're gonna keep having phones, I mean, obviously it's gonna take
oh,
some time,
totally.
but I think if the future is something more portable and embedded in your lives, then I can see a world where like the AR glasses or the chips or whatever, whatever ends up being the new trend, when we all get older and we all become boomers and the kids look for a new technology that is exciting, and they will just see us scroll on our phones like
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
I
I
think
see
there's
that
something
now.
where yeah.
I watch people scroll and like and sit there like zombies, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, open up the metaverse. But what's interesting though? What's amazing about what you say is like I try to get my kids. I pay attention to what my kids are doing. I have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old, two girls, and they were heavy on Roblox when I started getting involved on the metaverse. They were like 12 and 13 or something, and I tried to like I got them into Decentraland messing around. I got them making NFTs messing around. I got them exploring a little bit. They lost interest in it hard and stuck with Roblox. And I talk to them now a bit about AI and like my older daughter is like super anti AI
Okay.
and like even like one of my normie friends on Instagram who I hadn't talked to in a while. I was talking to him last week and I was like, he's a DJ. And I was like, do you mess around with the AI music at all? Or are you against it? And he was like, I'm against it. There's just like such a negative narrative out there. It's like we're like the innovators and they're like
Hmm.
full of fear.
Yeah, but
Like
I don't
like
know because I kind of feel like I mean, I think the main people who are against it, or it's because like environmental reasons. Um,
As they
but
respond to me on their iPhone.
exactly. But to be honest with you, I mean, just looking how things are headed, it's starting to be so embedded in everything. Like, I mean, even you know, any tool you have, any app you have, any product you're using, any hardware you're using, like it's basically already everywhere. Like
Yeah,
you can be against it, but you're kind of forced, quote unquote, to use it. Um,
yeah.
you're exposed to it. I had actually a very funny thing happen to me. I would say like 10 days ago, where my dad he sent me a playlist of a like I don't know. He sent me a playlist and he told me, "Hey, I like that. You should check that out." And I looked at the playlist, and it was fully AI. Like it was AI music, but my
Mm,
dad didn't know, you know. And then I was talking with him and I was telling him, you know that this is AI, right? And it was interesting because when we talked, he was kind of bought into the story of this guy. You know, it
right.
was an old dude, blah blah blah, had his struggles, etc. And then like the playlist was like some, a bit very emotional music, and it was really good to be fair. But then yeah, and I told him, and he was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." I mean, my dad is open-minded, so that's good. Like he didn't take it negatively. He thought, "Oh, that's insane. We can do this with AI." But
Yeah,
I found it interesting that we are getting to this tipping point where, even with short form, like there's so much AI stuff that's coming, you don't really know. Um,
yeah.
it's a crazy time.
Well, I mean, it's a whole other topic of conversation, like the
Yeah,
media and what is presented, the narrative that is presented, and like people have a short memory span, and as soon as the narrative shifts to like the good things, like even like I'm like almost certain we're gonna see a positive metaverse narrative again at some point. I really hope we do at least,
yeah,
and things are gonna blow up when that happens because like people
yeah.
like it's crazy how many people I've met in real life that are like, "Oh, I thought NFTs were dead," and it's like, I mean, maybe, but I made
Kind of, but
like
not
eight
fully. Yeah,
grand off of it last year. So like, I don't
yeah,
know how much you made playing Fortnite, but I made 8 grand on a dead metaverse and dead NFT platform. So
yeah.
it's like, you know, like
Yeah, to
I
each their
don't
own, right? But I
know.
think I agree. Like to go back to the topic, we're talking metaverse. We're talking like I think it's at the core. It's the social experience. It's how do you interact with people online, right? And I would love to get kind of more of your thoughts on how you've been going about like building community on these platforms because obviously they're all very different. Um, and how you think, let's say if we're talking social interactions, how they will, ideally look like on those platforms in the future. Um, but before I see Too Fat, and I wanted to shout you out, my friend, because it's been quite some time and we haven't talked. Too Fat,
Oh,
by the
too
way,
fat.
great musician. So if you
Awesome.
ever need a hip hop artist, he's great.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. I just spaced on your last question. Oh yeah,
I
how
was
I
talking about the different platforms and the social interactions on them.
right. Yeah. I don't know. I see when I see a new platform pop up, there's a vibe of competitiveness between other platforms. I personally think that's bad. I think especially since it's the metaverse is such a niche thing, like I think all platforms should collaborate in some way and work together because if one succeeds, they all succeed. If one does well, they all do well. It's like each one adds to the positive metaverse narrative, you know. So there's and the thing about the platforms is there's like pros and cons to each. Some focus more on gaming, some focus more on, virtual events, some focus more on asset ownership and like there's such great things happening there. And I think one of the other things is like we're heavily witness right now to Web 2, YouTube and social media and influencer times, and it's a time where like a creator doesn't need to depend on a middleman, even though YouTube is kind of the middleman. The metaverse is the same thing. Like a creator can can influence others, can connect with others, except now there isn't entirely a middleman except for the platform itself. But like Decentraland, for example, Nifty Island was very similar for me. Um, I could make something and not get shut down for what I made, and I could connect with people, and it's literally me direct to the consumer, and
Mm.
that's like extremely powerful. And the way to succeed, in my opinion, on YouTube, which also translates well into the metaverse, is just being authentic. Authenticity wins everything, so just be yourself. And so for me, like, that was my whole career. It was just like, this is me, this is my work, I'm putting it out there. So i've
Mhm.
been i've been like conditioned and trained to do it in a way that's like super authentic, but also like I never did it for money. Like my first 15 years I didn't make much money at all, and then like as soon as Web3 hit and like everything was like put into hyperspeed, I was starting to pick up some good money, and that was like the gravy to something that I already loved to do, And so money for me was never a motivator. I was just doing what I always wanted to do, and like people were connecting it and relating to it and wanting to be a part of it and wanting to collect it and wear it, rock it virtually, which we were sort of getting to with the AR MR. Like to me, it's like you buy virtual kicks and you want to flex them, like we see it on Instagram all the time. Someone just had this picture of their breakfast and they're wearing their new Nikes or whatever,
Mhm.
and like people love to collect and show stuff off. And like in a mixed reality metaverse world, you're going to be able to do that virtually more efficiently. And it's just like, it's, to me, it's like the most exciting thing ever. And for
Yeah.
me, AI too is like, it opens the doors for so many people that couldn't do certain things before, and it's just wild. It's like wild in the best way possible, and it's like F corporations. like, like I'm worried about Epic and Google, um, like collaborating, and I'm worried about Facebook. Like I know I'm not welcome on Facebook. I know I'm gonna have censorship issues on Google. I do
Mm.
every day in Web 2, and like, but with like these independent metaverse platforms, especially like especially the decentralized ones, that's a lot less likely to happen. It's okay for me to
Yeah.
be me, and that's awesome.
How did you go about building this authenticity? Because you're dealing with different audiences. When I was doing a bit of research before this, I saw that you've built up quite a big YouTube channel. I know that you have your collectors base with, your NFTs. You have your followers on X, let's say, and you have a bunch of people who follow you on events or get you included in events. How do you, first of all, how did you build that up over time? And was this just following this principles of authenticity, or how do you do
Yeah.
this on a day to day?
Yeah, I think if you compare me to a YouTuber who like blew up over a year, I I'm nothing special. But I've been posting on YouTube since 2011, and that was literally my main objective. Was like, oh cool, a platform I could post my videos, I'll just do that. There was no like, I need subscribers, I want likes, none of that. I don't think I've ever said don't forget to like and subscribe, smash that like button.
Mhm.
I've never said that in a video. um, but it was, to me, it was just authenticity, right? And I think at a certain point I had made so many videos, and then just like one just randomly took off.
Mhm.
And I always encourage people, like, even with the metaverse, I notice people are like so worried about making money in the metaverse, and I think people should be more worried about making the metaverse, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how it was for me. It was like, no, I just continue make, like, I get my dopamine hits off of making stuff. And I think a lot of people build channels with the hopes of making money and like seeing other people do it, and they're like, oh, I want to do that, I can do that. And then they do it, and then they go for it for like 2 or 3 months, and then they give up because they're not getting the results they're expecting. Like I did like probably 5 years where I was just like posting videos and I didn't care. And then after a while it just started to pick up. And so I always sort of tell people, like, if you want to grow something, make a commitment to produce something at least once a week for 2 years. Be really active with anybody who's around. Like, it doesn't even have to be about you. Like, you could like follow channels that you like of similar interests and just like engage in comments and stuff, and then develop relationships. And that process I really nailed down with crypto. Like Twitter, I
Mhm.
think I had probably like, I don't know, 100 Twitter followers
Mhm.
when I started Twitter, and then when 2014 came around, I still had the same amount. That was just like, I'm just gonna post my work, literally like from Instagram with those bots that auto post the Instagram post to Twitter.
Yep.
And like I gave it no love. But then when crypto came around, I was like, oh, this is the
The
place
main
to
channel.
be
Yeah.
to talk
Yeah.
to people about NFTs. So I turned it into like, all right, this is just about NFTs, this
Mhm.
Twitter page, you know. And then I just met so many people through there, collector. Like, it was cool to sell an artwork and then be able to connect with the collector and DM and talk to them, and and then they become like your partner, and they push your work too. And like the more collectors you got, like the bigger it grew. And it was like real life but hyper speed, you know. And like I got in 1 year, I think I had more attention on my work on Twitter than I did in like the 15 years that preceded it in real life, you know. And I was
Mhm.
like, man, this is crazy, you know, like the number of collectors. And I had a full list. Like in the past, like if someone bought my work at a gallery show, I didn't necessarily receive their contact information. The gallery would just keep that to themselves oftentimes. So I wouldn't
Interesting.
be able to connect, you know? And yeah, I mean, it's just like, basically, to answer your question, it's like long term, I think authenticity, being real. Like I feel like in Web3 and the metaverse especially, we've become so good at sniffing out BS, and it's an instant turnoff, you know, and you just like walk away from that whenever that happens. And I think authenticity is key, and heart and soul and passion is undeniable, and it's contagious, and
Yeah.
people love that stuff. And that's how I did well in Web3.
Interesting. Very interesting. Um, how, because you're doing a lot of promotional activities, doing events in the metaverse and all of that is also a form of promotion. Um, how do you handle the balance between creating art and then promoting it slash, being with the people who can actually enjoy it? Um, do you have like a fixed schedule? How do you kind of think about this? Or are
I
you just going with
really,
the flow?
I really only do one event a week at my first parcel that I bought in Decentraland, and that's with Stony Eye, and it's really his event, and he just asked to use my parcel, and I'm like, yeah, sure. So I kind of like just show up, and I like help with questions, kind of like you're doing right now. I'm like the you of that event. And it's not a hugely taxing thing for me to do. It's fun, you know. And really, that's kind of like the big thing for me, is like, is it going to be fun? Like, I don't care if I make money from it or anything. Is it going to be fun? Is That's like the big thing for me, like, as far as using up my time. And whenever people try to hire me to do things, I usually pass on jobs, because like,
Yeah.
I don't like being micromanaged. I don't like all sorts of things, and I just want to have a good time. You know, that's it. Like, and if there's like, sometimes I'll be busy on stuff, and then I just get this crazy idea of something to make, and I'm like, oh, I need to make that right now, and I can't resist but to like push everything aside and just start working on that. Like I said, my big thing is the dopamine hit that I get from creating. Like, money is irrelevant, and usually when you make something cool, people want it and they buy it, and so like I end up making money that I wasn't planning on getting. You know what I mean? And I kind of
Yeah.
like that. I like how that works for me, for my personality.
Interesting. We have a question from Tufat,
Yeah.
and he said, Not knowing who purchased my art is an interesting feeling. Did you ever push to find out who bought it?
Yeah, what's funny is like I didn't think about that before Web3, like how good it would be to connect with a buyer. Like before Web3, I was just excited to make a sale, and then that was the end of it. I didn't realize the benefits of getting to know them. And like for me, it's like when I do a drop, I make it as reasonable as possible, almost like impulse purchase. And the goal is that someone who wants it or loves it can buy it, and then if they want to flip it, they can at a profit, and then like everybody wins. That's kind of like what I like, and I feel like in the IRL world, in Web 2 world, that's the good way that it should be too. But I didn't even think of that back then, and I think most people don't. It's more they're more interested in that initial sale.
Very good answer. I agree. Um, yeah, he's saying it adds a sense of mystery. I wonder where
Yeah.
those collectors are today. You never
I
know.
had one. I had one guy call me out of the blue who bought an
Ooh.
expensive real life artwork, and he had his house flooded and it got destroyed, and he was asking for a receipt for the value of it to get reimbursed
Mhm.
by insurance. And like part of me thinks was like I don't know if he
That's a
really
bit
got
sad,
flooded. I
though.
don't know if he actually got flooded or like if it actually got destroyed. I don't know. But
Oh,
like there is that weird mystery.
yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Okay. Uh,
I should have been like, this wouldn't be an issue if you bought an NFT. It's on the blockchain.
it's safe from flooding, 100%.
Yeah.
That's cool. We had another question earlier that I missed that was related to what keeps a project alive? Community, project leader. I would add to this maybe the passion to the art. What do you
Yeah,
think?
totally. I think passion. I don't like work. I don't like working. So like I said, I just want to have a good time. And I've seen so many brands come and go in the metaverse because they have this like crazy idea in their head that they're just gonna like rocket from the gate. And like I think I stand by, like, especially more than ever in life, I stand by the more you give, the more you get. And so it's more about like what can you give, what can you give, what you can give. And then like you'll receive. Don't expect it, but you'll receive. Like give without expectation. That has served me so well in the metaverse. And so like I just like casually go along without pressure, just producing stuff that interests me. And so I don't burn out. I don't burn out from anything. I've watched so many people burn out. They hustle
Mhm.
way too hard, like harder than they should, throwing events like every single day, which is insane. Like that's too much, man. You don't need to work that hard. Especially in such a niche area where like, we still don't have like the masses aboard, like just chill, have a good time, and you won't burn out and you'll be able to keep producing.
Did you have some phases during the years where you were struggling with consistency? Um,
No,
or-
no, this has been like such a new frontier, and things happen so fast. There's always something fascinating that I want to explore, whether it's learning to build my own world, learning how to bake in Blender, learning AI, learning coding a little bit. How can I like bring this thing to life when I
Mm,
don't know how to code? Okay, I could use Cursor and Claude and like just ask it to do it for me and then go from there. It's just like it feels like every month there's something new to explore to like push what I'm already doing further or like open a whole new door, and I just never get bored. Like I honestly get annoyed when I have to leave my house. Like if I have to drive to like deliver a package, it kills me. Like I don't want to get in the car. I don't want to drive to the post office. I don't want to deal with traffic and like road ragers. And it's like, man, I'm missing out on something right now. There's just like always something to do in Web 3, and like
mm,
everything else like takes that time away from me.
that's super cool. You want to show us something? I know you've modernized your island. I think could be really nice to take a look at it.
Oh yeah, let me share my screen. Yeah, I want to. Oh, you got people there, huh? Cool.
Let's go.
I hadn't even hopped in. Oh wait, this is not my island.
No, this is the
All right, so my island is called Fem Island. FEMME.
awesome. Let's everybody join there. Um, Six, if you could send the link in the side chat, it would be great.
There it is. I mean, you don't have to join. I can show it. It's fine if you want to join. But yeah, I wanted to. So like Nifty Island, I was a beta tester. You invited Vipes, certain Vipe people to be beta testers back when it was first starting, and so I started tinkering with Nifty Island, and like I still I don't know if there's any platform that competes with the building capabilities of Nifty Island, the terraforming and everything.
Yeah, I think
Especially
it's a special feature. Yeah.
at the time, it was like really out of this world, compared to like everything else. And so I went crazy. I don't know if I'm connecting, but if you guys can get in, you can see it. But I
Yeah,
went
Six got just shared
crazy.
the link. Just check in side chat and you can join it. And
Cool.
and that one said, "Oh, that's a French island." I was about to say, yeah,
La Femme.
La Femme.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I got carried away with the terraforming, and I started sculpting figures because of my work. I'm fascinated in the human body, so I decided to just like sculpt huge females out of the terraforming, and I don't know. I spent a long time doing that, and it was there, and then I started implanting my assets around the land, and when you pop in. It says sometimes you stumble on beautiful things when you stop to look around. And that's the whole point, right? Is like at first glance, this is just like a regular island, but then from certain angles, you can see the islands become figures. So like you got this woman over
Ooh,
here in the
oh,
water.
nice.
Um, it's like full of them. Like you got this big butt right here.
You can use Q for it to move over the drone. Says lovely to
Oh right,
show.
yeah. I was messing around with that yesterday. Um, We got a woman in the water. We got three girls over here. Um, just like a whole variety of stuff, and I totally enjoy like using some of the items that for different uses. Like so, I made that a flame. Nobody can
Yeah.
really use that teleport. But I always liked like taking what's available and using it in different ways. And then I started exploring everything else that Nifty Island offered, including like the games and my favorite game still to this day is the oh my god, what's it called on the tip of my tongue where you have to hide.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's
Prop
called.
hunt.
What's that?
Prop hunt.
No, you are
Spy hunt.
everybody spy hunt, there you go.
Hmm.
Everybody looks the same, and then I also threw a backrooms world up in here. I don't know if I can go in it. Can I? Yeah, I created like a
Ooh.
backrooms. So
Oh
I just
shit.
kind of went mad, just like
That's cool.
vomiting all over the island, whatever I could, and had a really good time doing that. But like I said, I explore so many
Hey, Six
platforms.
God, what you doing here?
That's awesome. I explore so many. I think I'm stuck on the chair. There you go. I explore so many platforms, and like I've always been for me, NFTs, like the NFTs that I collect, it's been about what can you do with them. And Nifty Island was like one of the first to really make use of the assets that come with your NFT collectibles.
Hmm.
And so like it really helped me understand, like especially that time it was like Vipe and then Nifty Island showed up, and Vipe is like a phenomenal collectible that unfortunately, died down. But you get
They
these
were great.
amazing assets,
Vibe was a Vibe was a
Yeah.
great project.
Works on various platforms, and in an industry where we see nothing but like people complaining about floor price, and it blows me away today that people still even care about collectibles that are just a JPEG, that have nothing attached to the metadata. And so I
Mm,
got really like crazy on collecting anything that came with something, because all I could see was like, oh man, speaking of like YouTube and influencers and stuff, like you could take your assets and turn them into like the world's next famous thing. And especially cyber brokers, like right here I got my cyber broker. I did a lot with my cyber
ooh.
broker. And cyber brokers, in my opinion, are one of the most underrated collectibles in NFTs, because like they're not JPEGs, they're SVG vector art. So
Mhm.
SVG vector art, and they're on the chain. They're actually on the chain. There is no interplanetary file system, IPFS. There is no Arweave. There's no nothing. It's just
It's great.
on the blockchain. They spent like 90 ETH or something to do that,
Mm,
and they
damn.
offer assets, and it's just like, and full IP ownership. So like you could take your characters and make them famous, and that's what this collectible is about, that I'm rocking right now. This is my Clone X, which is right here in the corner under the big heart. It's the clone.
Mhm.
So I took the asset and then I body painted her, and then I put her out. I connected her to, I wanted her to be interoperable, like one of the first real interoperable NFTs. So I minted the NFT on
Mhm.
Manifold, and then I connected the metadata to other side. I linked it into Decentraland. It works here in Nifty Island. Um, works on a version 1 HyperFi. It works in HyperFi 2 as well, and anywhere else that accepts VRMs. Um, but for me, it's more about what does the NFT itself do? Do I need to drag and drop stuff? So this one NFT works on all those platforms, and yeah, that's my latest drop, and it's free, except for like a $1 gas transaction fee. But I
Mhm.
can even show like how it looks in other platforms. Unfortunately, of course, this past week, Arweave is going through some sort of transition.
Oof.
They're shifting servers and stuff. So
Okay.
I believe it's not working in other side today. And it might
Mm.
not, like if you were to mint this today, it might not work immediately in Nifty Island. It works for me, I think, because I had it on, you know.
I
Um,
think it should be fine, in my
But
opinion.
yeah, if anyone wants this, I think there's like 4 days left. It's been out for a month, and it's been wild. Like I have like one of the Stony Eye events in Decentraland. There was like 30 people rocking it at once. That's always fun to see when that happens. I'm talking about like that first time that I really wanted to get a picture of somebody doing that. It's like
Mm.
it just keeps happening over and over again. But the other thing that I love about this NFT is like it to me it represents the opposite of what can be done when a community dissipates. So you have Artifact and CloneX and Nike, right? And like Nike announced that they're shutting down Artifact, and
Mm.
the whole CloneX world just dies out, and FUD. And to me, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever. I got my assets. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to take good use out of it, and make something cool. And like, if my goal was to make the world's most famous influencer, which I think like somebody can do. It's not what I want to do, but somebody can do that. Somebody could take what they own and put it out there and make it famous. That's wild. Imagine if you took your asset and made it more famous than Mickey Mouse. How sick that would be. But so this is
Yeah.
a demonstration of like, I mean, they just announced that there's a new buyer, like a few months ago. Nobody knows who the new buyer is, so the floor price went up and people started buying it. And again, it's like a repeat of like ups and downs, and still nobody's talking about what you can do with the stuff that you actually own. So I went and did it. So I went and I took my asset, body painted it, made it free for anybody to collect. I wanted it to be the first clone in Other Side, which it was, also demonstrating my branding and trying to get a lot of people to collect it in various spaces so that you could see CloneX is dead, maybe not, but here you see a lot of clones, and they're starting to pop up. Even different clones are starting to pop up in other sites, and it's like that's all community. That has nothing to do with founders or anything. That's all just like people taking what they own and putting it out there. I think that's what it's all about to me. That's like the magic of all of this. Like again, screw the corporations. This is my stuff. Do what I want. Like my girls tell me all the time, like, oh, they just released the DeLorean on Fortnite, and I'm a sucker for DeLoreans. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I would buy it for you, but we can't do anything with it. Like, it's just in Fortnite. It's not even ours, And it's like, I want to take it places, put it in different worlds, you know? And they don't get that. They don't get that. I feel it like to me, it just feels like you're just throwing your money away on something that's not yours. Whereas here, it's like this is ours. We can do what we want, And I love that. I love that so much.
I love the fact that you've been using the terraforming features to make those women.
Yeah,
I think that's super creative. I can't imagine how much time you spent on it because
a long
I know
time.
the brush doesn't always cooperate. So yeah,
Yes.
kudos to you, man.
Yeah, I can't
That's
remember
great.
which one was the first one. Uh, but yeah, there were moments where like I hit it wrong and it just wrecked it. And then I
Yeah.
think I figured out like 70% of the way through building all this, like I figured out an improved way to do it, and so it sped up my process a little bit. But yeah, it was hard. It was really hard. But the results, the thing that made me sad when it was all said and done, and we talk about ownership and stuff, I
Mm.
can't I can't take that out. I want to be able to export that now, but I can't. The terraforming is locked in there, so that's like it's similar. I mean, that's my fault. Like I could have sculpted it in Blender and imported it. But
Mhm.
there's something to be said about doing it in world and just letting it be and letting it only exist here for people to explore on their own. This actually this house here was one of those houses that you had to earn and then buy right early on. And when I got it, it was like too small. It wasn't as wide. So I was able to download it and then add windows, see through windows, and I made it a little bit wider and made it more my own and then brought it back in, like that's the kind of stuff that I love to be able to manipulate things like that.
Very
Um,
cool. If any of you
so yeah,
want to have the skin that he's rocking, which is this amazing um, modified Clone X, I just linked the minting link in the side chat in Discord.
awesome.
It's
Thank you.
it's free or like $1 or something like that.
Yeah, it's
So
free gas. There's a gas transaction, which I think is about $1 or a service fee or something for Manifold. And yeah, like I said, it might not work yet until this Arweave transition is finished, which I think it's been going on for like 4 days or something. I just learned
mhm,
about it yesterday, and I spent like a lot of time yesterday trying to figure out what the hell was happening. But what's cool is unlike everything else we're seeing with like Nifty Gateway and Rodeo Club and
mm,
like so many platforms that are petering off,
mhm,
and just sort of leaving their metadata like to the will of nature. Um, Manifold is like my favorite because like it gives the artist control of the contract, and so I'll always be able to update the metadata to fit wherever we're headed. So like this NFT especially, to me, this one is just like super important to me. Like wherever we're headed in the future, that metadata will be updated to work for it. So
mhm.
if Arweave never fixes this thing, then I'll be replacing that metadata to work with a different setup.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And anyone who's interested in like figuring out how to do these things, like I make a lot of tutorials. I have two YouTube channels. One is the one that you saw with body painting, but I have another one called Rouverse, Rouverse, and I've shown a few tutorials on how to host assets on NFTs like this one, so that you can create and sell things similarly
Yeah.
too, and a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. My explorations with a lot of platforms and AI and all sorts of crazy stuff that I'm interested in.
Man, it's so. Why do we have Donald Trump on the screen? Come on, Six God, please. Come on.
He's doing little tiny barbells.
Does anybody? We're getting close to the top of the hour. Thank you so much, Roustan, for being with us. I really appreciate the chat. I think you made some really, really good points, and always good to get the perspective of an artist. Does anybody of you have questions? I mean, we went more over the interoperable side of things, and building walls, how to use art in those environments. So please send over any questions if you do have any, if you're curious about something.
Yeah, I'm all over the map. You can feel free, anybody, to DM me if something caught your fancy and you want to explore it more, but you don't really know where to start. DM me on Discord or Twitter. Twitter is probably a little bit easier to reach me because I'm always hesitant to accept friend requests that I don't know unless you tag me somewhere before. But always happy to help people figure out things, because to me, I don't like keeping things private, personal. I think we all win the more we share knowledge, and I want everybody to succeed. I would love to see I would love to see everybody who has been through these last 5 years, rocket. I hate when I see people disappear,
Yeah,
who are amped at one point and then they're just gone. I don't like that.
there's so many of them though.
Yeah.
Across cycles, they come, they extract as much as they can, and they leave. But
And then
you're one of the good ones.
there's still people today that have yet to explore any metaverse, and it blows my mind. And they're
Yeah,
trying to sell NFTs, and they're publicly struggling, and it's like, dude, will you just freaking jump in a metaverse and unlock this new world for yourself?
yeah.
Because man, you're missing out.
Even just being able to interact with your holders is a big deal.
Yeah. I
Being
mean,
able
I
to
got my
talk to them,
first
see them.
Genesis mech in Nifty Island. I was talking about
Mhm.
cyber brokers. Cyber brokers, they created their Nifty Island Genesis mech build, and then I participated in their games, and I'd always wanted one. And at the time, it was out of my price range. I love them. They're incredible. Incredible collectibles. And I participated, and I won one. They gave me one. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I took that, and I threw that asset in so many worlds. And you know, that wouldn't have happened. That would have never happened if I didn't participate.
Yeah. Super inspiring. Thank you so much, Roustan. I think you just dropped the mic. um, thank you very much for your time. I think everybody enjoyed it. Again, thank you. If anybody wants to have the CloneX avatar, there's the link up here. I'm going to just reply to this. It's free. You can claim it, and you can be super cool and across different metaverses, show off. And yeah, thanks again, Roustan. We're going to move over to some raffles where you're going to be able to win some blooms potentially. And I'm going to let Six Cut take that over. So again, thank you so much, Roustan, for your time today. Really appreciate it, and see you soon.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for joining.